Welcome to this lab. In this lab, we're going to discuss the GetKeywords method or GetKeywords function. So let's go to our code here. I created another method called drawObject using GetKeywords. So we have here the document and the database. Next, the requirement for the GetKeyword is for you to create a prompt keyword options. So this is another object for prompting the user for input. So basically you need to use the prompt keyword options. Initialize a variable. Let's just call this as PKO equals new prompt keyword options. Let's just leave the string for now as blank. Now we need to create a message to the user, pko.message. So let's say our project will basically just prompt the user to select from one of the options to draw, like line, circle, and mtext. So we just prompt the user to enter the object he wants to draw. What would you like to draw? The syntax is equals to. Okay, next we need to add the keywords now. So pko dot keywords that add. These are now the options that the user will see when we run the code. So pko.keywords.add. Let's add another object as an option. Keywords.add. Let's say mtext. And we can restrict the user's option to allow none equals false. This means that the user has to select one of these options. Next, so we have these prompt keyword options. So how are we going to get the selected option by the user? Remember the prompt result? Let's just call that as res equals doc.editor that get keywords from the prompt keyword options object. And then let's just initialize another variable. Let's call this as answer equals res.string result. Okay. Now before we get started with coding which options the user has selected here, we just need to validate. It's always good to validate. If answer is not equal to null, then we go ahead. So since we are drawing each of these objects here, we need to use the transaction. We need to start the transaction. Next, if we are drawing object, what we need to do, we need to get the block table. Let's just initialize bt as trans.getObject from our database block table ID, open mode for read as block table. Okay. Next, we have the block table. What do we need to do? We need to have the block table record equals trans.getObject. That would be the bt, then block table record that model space, open mode for writing. as block table record. Alright, so now what's next for us to do? How are we going to identify if whether the selected option is line or circle or mtext? We can use the switch statement, right? Remember switch answer. You can use if then else, but for this example let's use switch. So case, if the selected option is line, then draw the line here and break. If the selected option is circle, draw the circle, then break. If the selected option is mtext, then draw the mtext. So we are just constructing our switch statement, and we will come back here and do the necessary coding and then break. And the default, let's just say doc.editor, no option selected. Alright, then also a break. So this will be our structure for the case for the switch statement. Now we can draw the line here. So what do we need to do for the line? We need to have 2 points, right? Points 3D, pt1 equals new point. Let's start from 0 0. Another point 3D, let's make it 100 100. Then now we have 2 points. We can create a line, new line from point 1 to point 2. That's it. However, we still need to add into the block table record, right? ln, then append in the transaction or add in the transaction. True. So that's our line. Next, for the circle, what do we need for the circle? We need the insertion point. Let's call this as inspt equals new point 3D. Let's do that at 0 0. What else do we need? Let's draw a circle, new circle. And now we can provide the circle properties. So the center would be our inspt. Our radius, let's say just make it 10, and let's change the color, equals 1, which is red. Then that's it for our circle, and we can append it into our block table record and add into our transaction. Next, for the mtext, what do we need to do for the mtext? We also need an insertion point. Inspt equals new point. Let's just make it 0 0. So we need to instantiate the mtext object. Now we can provide the mtext properties. What will be the contents? Let's just say hello world. What will be the insertion point or the location? That will be our inspt. What will be the height? Let's make that 10. mtx.color equals yellow. We have error here because we used this already. Let's make this as center point. Okay, this one has to be right message. Next, we have to make sure to commit the transaction. So trans.commit, and that's it. Let's revisit our code. So this mainly the emphasis here, using the get keywords. So first we initialize prompt keyword options, and then we add our keywords, line, circle, and text. Then we get the results, and depending on the results we handle it here. Alright, so let us save our project and do a build. So there is an error here. What is the error? Oh, this one. We are not using the color, we're using the color index. So let's use color index. Save and then do a rebuild. Alright, succeeded. So in the next video we're going to run this in AutoCAD. I'll see you there.